Ladies and gentlemen, we are live on twitch.tv/Asuma, where we are streaming from the Hermitcraft server. There are loads of people here, loads of bananas in chat. Wow, thank you ever so much everyone for tuning in today. I did not expect so many people to be here. It seems y'all are excited for some Hermitcraft action. I'm excited for some Hermitcraft action, that is for sure. Here's the deal. Just finished eating, cooked myself a curry. It was absolutely gorgeous. I was in a good mood and I thought, I just feel like streaming now. Today is a streaming day. I was going to stream later on, but I just felt like streaming and I wanted to get going. So welcome everyone. These are more the sort of materials I need to be picking up. But what we're doing today, we're going to need stone and materials from the moon biome. And so I'm just trying to fish some out of these chests. This one was clearly used for the moon biome project. Yes. We're listening to some Starcraft Soundtrack today. Was going to pick the Diablo one, but it's on the same playlist as the Starcraft one, and I thought, ain't heard that in a while. I love that. That's my happy music. That's the go to a good space music right there. And that's why I wanted to stream, I think, really. Just I love these live streams. It's always a good time. And that's kind of what I felt like I wanted. Is that alright? I want to have a good time. Is that alright? Some peeps in chat are saying decked out, decked out. I've played decked out, and I don't have another key, so I can't exactly go barging in there playing again without a key, right? Ah, this right here is the treasure trove. Peeps, we found the treasure. We need more andesite over where we're playing at. Do I have any in these other ones around here? Okay, so just this one. And that lonely block will get moved up here. Oh, that should do me. That should do me. Let's put them in. I'm actually kind of like on point today, thinking things through before we leave. I think I might need a little bit of glass. Although I do know I've actually got a fair bit over there already. And I know we've got lots of sand and gravel, so maybe the only other thing I need is to make sure I've got my dyes together. So we'll make a bunch of light grey dye over here. And then I think we'll be good. We also got noises in the air. It's of Saucer, here for 7 months. Adam 7k here for 9 months. No Stride Suma. I'm normal Suma for now. The Cesar is here for 5 months, and Jake the Stretch is here with cheers and bits, saying, how many bits do I need to give you for a Mumbo prank? Oh, Jake! Jake, dude, you just missed the Mumbo prank. We do one at the beginning of every single live stream, and unfortunately, you tuned in a little bit too late there, my man. You've missed it. But the peeps in chat, they'll tell you how great it was. They might have a little bit of trouble describing it, because it was one of those sort of multiple levels, layers of thinking, multi-dimensional thinking, you know? It's like abstractions, left, right, and centre. But I'll tell you, they know that they enjoyed it, that chat do. They just don't know how to explain it. I mean, I can't explain. I've already forgotten, to be fair. It was so complicated, that prank. Whew. Jeez, how did we do that? But thank you for your cheers and your bits. I appreciate the support. In general, I don't tend to just do something by request. Because there is an exchange of bits or whatever. Like, you can always suggest something. Doesn't mean I'm going to do it, though. Like, I don't do anything in exchange for something else. If you suggest an idea, I'll do it on the merit if I like the idea or not, generally. Look at chat. They're going crazy about that prank right now. Yo, this is Starcraft music, says person with white username on a white background. Can't read your name. Sorry, it's literally the same colour as the background. I'll tell you what I would do. I'd like dark mode on my chat. Jeez. That'd be good. Cub completed the road, says Ragav. Yeah, he's completed his part of it. I mean, let's face it. Cub had an easier job, but I'm very glad that he did his side. I mean, I've invested an extraordinary amount of time into mine. Dude, you need to clean up the shulkers, lol, says the one from Wales. It's getting to the point now where I've got all these projects, and when they're all done, I feel like then I'm going to bring all the shulker boxes together and see how big the monster got. You know? Because there is just stuff everywhere all the time. Also, who's online? Tango Falls. Hey, wait a minute. I had an idea. I just had an idea. And then I had to burst into song, apparently. Okay, I'm going to go down here. Roy the Wyvern says, how's life outside of Hermitcraft? It's alright. I've been enjoying... Well, it's supposed to be like slower paced September, but really it's just doing other stuff September. Look at the Tango. The man who built... Oh, jeez, his head spun around. That was slightly terrifying. Quick. Before Tango checks. Wait a minute, Tango probably isn't playing his own game. This is a way to get a free run. I think you have to do the run straight away, actually. I want to get a key. I like need one more thing for a key. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Nope, Tango's like, not even replying to you. No way, Jose. Don't even try and get free stuff. This is amazing, this place. If you mean begging / bribery, no. Ah, what other forms of... What about intimidation? Oh, great. Great stuff. We got Pal J here with a Prime. We got Lonan James D with a Prime subscription. Churchy, I believe is how I say your name. Churchy with an X. Subscribing. Thank you so much. You can certainly try. I'll spare you for today. Okay, we're going to be working on this bit over here, which, by the way, I kind of realised... oh, we never finished doing... Well, is that a derp? Y'all are going to tell me it's a derp, right? It's a derp. I left the bones. I got distracted. Didn't do the ink sacks. Oh, they're putting derp faces in chat. Y'all been fooled! Today, y'all been fooled. Y'all the derps. You putting derp faces in chat? Y'all the derp. X knows what he's doing. He's trolling. Can't you tell I'm in a trolly mood? Oh, jeez, you lot. Thinking I was making mistakes. I'm playing on a different level. Don't you know? Look at all those derp fiends in chat. Identifying themselves. Coming out from the shadows with the derp faces. We see ya. We see ya. That being said, I certainly didn't bring enough of the... the bone meal. But there's bones here! Before you call me a derp again. Oh, you didn't do it again, did ya? You didn't just put the derp face in again. I certainly hope not. I certainly hope not. We don't actually need that straight away. Let's focus on... Where are my shulk boxes? Jeez! Now I've got to press the dirt button. Oh. Oh, jeez. In trying to troll people, I trolled myself. Well done, me. We got Railiger here with the Prime. We got Jake the Stretch with cheers and bits. Saying, prank him again. Make a machine that destroys bones and calls it the bone hurting machine and gift it. Dude, were you here at the beginning of the stream? That was kind of what we did. Oh, you missed it though. You missed the Mumbo prank. Peeps, remember that it's tradition at the beginning of every single live stream that we prank Mumbo. So if you want to see Mumbo prank, just gotta get here first thing, you know. Right, up we go, up we go. Oh, jeez. Risky, but worth it. Thank you for the cheers and the bits. Appreciate it. We got Omar Musak here with the Prime. I give you a Prime subscription. Appreciate it. By Mina says, assume if you do full screen on Twitch, you get dark mode. Yeah, I don't use Twitch's chat. It's very unoptimized in terms of space. Like there's just so much filled in, you know, like dull areas where nothing happens. With my one, it's like top to bottom chat, and it's still difficult to read. Still difficult. Okay, we'll take those. They'll be a part of what we're building, and some more stone. Although I feel like we've got enough over there already. Fairly new to Twitch. Bits, cheers, says Lost Darwinite. Cheers and biddies are like a Twitch currency for sending money to a streamer. So you have donations, you have direct donations, which existed on Twitch for a really long time. And then obviously they wanted a piece of that pie, so they invented cheers and bits, which are more integrated into the system. And so people send some bits my way for the stream, and I read out the message, and that's kind of that. Sleepy Donuts is here with the Prime subscription. Stratinez is here with the Prime as well. Thank you so much. How can you write emotes on your Minecraft tools, says Rutger. Ah, well, because in the 1.16.2 update, they added support for some of the emojis, if you like. Also, it's time to sleep away the night. That being said, we're still getting prepared here. You know, I got some of my shapes on me, we need a few more. Hi X, I'm rewatching your old streams while I work from home, says Ein Reinfall. That's great to hear. I'm glad you're getting some enjoyment out of them. Because, you know, we've got the second channel there. It's like an archive of all that we've done. I love that you stream Hermitcraft a lot, because there are not that much Hermitcraft streamers. A fair few of us stream, but no one's a streamer as in, like, a all-day streamer. So yeah, I don't think I stream Hermitcraft more than someone like False or Scar. Actually, Scar does 2 days a week, so I probably do end up streaming more than Scar. But yeah, there's a few of us that stream regularly, but none of us, I think, are like hour-long streamers. Tango, for example, might even be streaming right now. That being said, I know he isn't because he's back on Twitch, and I check who I follow before I go live. Just see what's going on. So, we've got the materials for shaping a mountain. The problem is that up there... let's grab the tools as well. Up there, I kind of wanted to give this a bit more stature, and I believe the way that we're going to do that is with quartz, and I do have a chest with quartz. However, we might have to use a bit of a placeholder to begin with. I mean, maybe I could build a stone brick foundation, because we got to hide some of the redstone as well, and I'm pretty sure, like, whatever quartz I have here probably won't end up being enough. Look, if we're going to use stone bricks, we're going to need that. And confirmed, no quartz here, so we know what we're doing. Alright, so first thing for today's stream is to get some stone brick structure around the outside of this building. And then we will build up the mountainous base below it. And I kind of wanted to get like a cliffy overhang effect going, but we'll see how it comes together, because that might be a little bit more tedious and tricky. This will be our workstation area for now. You know, the chest monsters are appearing. Let's hope Cubfan doesn't come by and start tearing them up. We got JPB626 for cheers and bits saying, what did I miss at the beginning? You missed a marvellous prank on Mr. Mumbo Jumbo. We basically made a machine that destroys bones and calls it the bone hurting machine, and we gifted it. Yeah, it was like one of those multi-level pranks, you know. It's very, as I say it, you're probably getting confused, you know. You had to have been there to understand it. Mino X says, what's the deal with you and curry? I need to know. I love curry. Curry is just my absolute favourite food, basically. I mean, I love enchiladas and Mexican food. I love all sorts of food, but curry is very easily available here in the UK. We have a culture of eating Indian food, and man, there is nothing like a good curry. So since the lockdown, you mean, like, I cut out all takeaway, junk food, fast food many years ago. I was like, I'm done with this, I need to get in better shape. And then, after many years, I'm now in very good shape, and it's kind of like, well, now I can kind of get away with eating this stuff, right? So I started to have a few treats here and there, navigated my way through rubbish like Pop-Tarts and chocolate bars or whatever, and then found my way to what is essentially, you know, not the healthiest, but not exactly an unhealthy meal. Curry, depending on how it's cooked, it's fast food in a way, but it's proper food at the same time. And, you know, a takeaway curry is a lot of calories, but calories in, calories out, you know, so I can kind of get away with that. I kind of get away. So what I've been doing since the lockdown is just once a week, I just have an absolute massive curry. I get 2 curry dishes. Ah, here's the problem. Yeah, I need, this is why I got the orange one out over here, by the way. I have 2 curry dishes, 2 sides, and a bread. And it is a feast. Feast to behold. Why is curry junk food? Says can't pronounce your name. Well, it's not really. Look, you know, like, junk food is a category. And the more specific we can be in describing what the food is, the better we can understand what we're trying to convey, right? So, curry is essentially quite rich. And so, because it's high in calories, it can be easy to eat a lot of it. And therefore put on weight. And therefore it kind of, you know, you might consider it part of the unhealthy category. But, you know, it depends on how much you have, really. And 1 a week is, you know, pretty tolerable for the most part. It's just this little bit here that means I have to do that. I kind of wanted to preserve the nice quartz texture. And I guess the grass allowed you to go up and down a bit, and now we're using this, it's going to be like quite rigid. But anyway, 2 of those would cover up everything. Then it could be a little bit of stone bricks that then kind of collides with our what we're building over there. Maybe we can make it so it's just like an extended section. So if we bring it like that, and then this bit can wrap around, it just might look a little better overall. Let's wiggle it around this corner. We got quite a few noises in here. Where was the last one? Jeez. The Jargian is here subscribing with Amazon Prime. Firewolf277 is here with the Prime, and Camel B is here for 30 months saying X. Thanks for the wonderful videos and streams. Thank you for the lovely message. Legacy642 is here subscribing for 23 months. Thank you so much, Legacy. Appreciate that. We have Broccoli99 for 2 months. Curry is super good and so fun to make. When you make homemade curry, you know what you're putting in it, so you can kind of tell, yeah, this is healthy. Like the one I had today, you know, no junk food, like no preservatives, all fresh ingredients, right? Chopped up the onions, the garlic, and the ginger myself, so you know it's like legit, right? What is with these odd blocks here? Oh, what is this? What is this? We need some order here. I need to figure out where the edge is, right? So on this side, it's the same dealio by the looks of it. Which makes sense because it would be mirrored. We might see a little bit of redstone over here. And I think the way that we did it was just somewhere around here. There was like this little extra block. So we go there. Yep, that'll do the whole way going across. And over here, it's just going to actually go straight to where the grass is, I guess. So let's go move all of this across. Nice, and that one there. Colour Complete is not the prettiest of shops, says Alpenglow. I disagree. I think it's a great shop. It's just, now that things are changing around it, the foundation is just left kind of on that old, you know, normal terrain. So now the terrain's changing up, we need to just kind of give this thing a bit more gloss. I mean, when I got like a supply of quartz again, I might actually come back here and just swap this over to stone bricks again, because... Sorry, swap it over to quartz, just because, you know, it's going to look better. That can actually kind of stay protruding like that. That's not so bad. So we got Jake the Stretch here with cheers and bits saying questions. 1. Do you guys hate root beer? 2. Say the funny Tuesday meme. Also, curry is Indian chili. Well, curry is Indian cuisine. And it can have chili in it. It can be spicy. It can be hot. Thank you for the cheers and bits again, Jake. Do you guys hate root beer? Well, I mean, we don't collectively do all the same thing. And by us, I'm not sure if you mean hermits or people in the UK or whatever. I got to have some root beer when I was a kid on holiday in America. And I loved it. It was great. It was very sort of bitter but tangy and refreshing. And I know that today there's far more chance I would like something than when I was younger. When I was younger, I was fussier with food. And as I've grown up, I've just become more embracing of it. Like, yeah, not everything you're going to eat is going to be like the most delicious thing ever, right? But like, enjoy it for what it is. Some foods are deceptively nice if you just focus on what they are, rather than comparing it to what you think you want to eat, right? Anyway, I'd like a root beer, actually. You know, there's a couple of drinks that I have once in a blue moon. Dandelion and burdock. Ginger beer is fantastic, and root beer would probably be another one. Ginger beer and root beer, I believe, are very similar. But again, thank you for your cheers and bits, dude. Appreciate it. Let's continue placing these blocks. We got Madden Chan here for 10 months. Hello, friends. Hope you're all doing well. I hope everyone here is doing well. We're going to have a little bit of a conversational talk, a chat, a topic in a little while regarding mental health and social media, I've been on a bit of a thought stint. Thought stint, is that a thing? If it is not, we've just invented thought stints, you know? I've been on a thought stint again. Sounds terrible already. I regret making the whole thought stint thing, okay? Bam. Yeah. T-Face70 here at Cheers and Bits saying, "Hey X, I've been building a large-scale Guardian farm, and I've had your Assumer Says playlist in the background. I really like your thoughts and ideas on certain topics. You're the best." Thank you for Cheers and Bits, dude. I appreciate it. Let me tell you, a lot of the stuff that's on there has come from like a long time. Like these are ideas that I've sort of learned and accumulated over time, right? That kind of come together now. Takes a bit of time to like figure stuff out. Adam says, "Get the record button ready." Ironically, today I forgot to hit record. Oh my goodness me. Adam, glad to have you in chat. I mean, I don't know what it's going to be like, right? Like. The thing with the Assumer Says channel is that it's clipped from here, and so when I know I'm sort of going into one a bit, I try and be coherent, but there are all these distractions, and I guess that's kind of what the... Oh, how does this bit line up? See? Distracted. I guess that's kind of what the live stream that we're supposed to do once a month is for, which I know I've got to do this month, I just haven't figured out when, but that allows me to really just knuckle down and focus on, like, talky Assumer Says stuff, right? Yeah, this is going to look so much better when I have quartz. I'll come back and replace this one day. Because this just doesn't feel so great. Molly the Spices X, I might mute you for the first time. I'm watching a metal stream, Faceless Clown. You know him? I do not. I do not. But, you know, go do what you want to do. If you want to watch something else, that's fine by me. You should build the Curry Mobile. Curry Mobile? Do you mean like a mobile shop? I don't understand. Good thing about Indian curry is that you can get a good quantity of spices, which is healthy and boosts something. Powdered ginger mixed with pulverized cloves. Let's skim over this a little bit. So we're basically saying that a lot of the spices and herbs that go into it are good for your immune system, digestion, things like that. I mean, if you're going to tell me curries are healthy, I'm going to eat them all, you know? I couldn't go to 2 a week, though. I was thinking about this just the other day. I've developed a bit of a habit with having my weekly curry. And what I do is I watch a really good movie with it. I'm like, I'm going to enjoy a really good movie at the same time. But now it's become like something that I like really look forward to, which I think can be a little bit dangerous because sometimes I might be looking forward to it a little bit too much, you know, like... to start to obsess on it a bit. Like, you got to stay in the present a lot of the time, right? And then I start to think about having, you know, maybe this week I'll have a, you know, one midweek. And that's dangerous. Just keep it to 1 a week, I think. I mean, maybe your body's good for 2 a week. I don't know. Please don't tell me it is. If it is, I guess it's not a bad thing. But I know about once a week's going to be fine, right? Trash Can Cat says, "Don't be too hard on yourself, X. It's okay to have something to look forward to sometimes." Absolutely. I'm just very aware of myself. I'm an addict. Like I go full in on things, right? I mean, we're approaching 1,000 episodes of Hermitcraft. Does that make sense? Like I have to just watch my behavior with stuff. It's like if I let it become more than a weekly thing, then it'll just become, you know, too much. So, like, if I'm going to be addicted to something, it's going to be things that are all around positive, like exercising and doing live streams. You know, like, when you get sucked into stuff, you got to keep your life in order. And I probably could get away with 2 a week, but I just think just 2 a week would just be too much in the long run. So, keeping it sane, you know, keeping it grounded. You talked about making your Hermitcraft episodes 3 digits long. Do you wish you'd have gone with 4 digits, says another JT? Nah, maybe at one point in time I would have been annoyed by that, but like, I've learnt that being annoyed by little things like that is in itself just its own problem. Like, how on earth should I be bothered by the fact that I could have put 4 zeros on the first thumbnail, right? Because we got here. like that should be no weight in my mind. It should be like, this is an achievement. I've done something. I've done it for a long time. Some of you have been watching for all of those episodes, right? Like how OCD is a way to turn positive things into negatives, and that's just not like what I want to do. I don't want to turn 1,000 episodes into a Hermitcraft of, oh, if only I'd have, 3 zeros in the beginning. Like, who cares? Who cares? We're here now. It's like, man, an OCD, like, it does it all the time. It just tricks you into those little things you think need to be balanced, but really they don't mean very much. Right, let's start this next bit. I mean, some of it's been already built for us by the looks of it. I do think this is going to need a bit more wiggle room. Let's actually come... excuse me, got a bit of burping from that curry that I cooked. Come over here and just figure out a few more of the base parts. Yeah, this bit's going to be extended there. That's cool. And it goes up a little bit higher. You see, it's very flat here. And you know what? Why wouldn't we bring it all the way to where the glass is? There's no rules here. We make the rules. So we've got that going on to about there. What's your favourite curry, says Darkus Light Grey. I've got quite a few now because in my recent adventures during the lockdown, I got forced to go to a different curry place, because what I used to do was just get the same thing over and over again, right? And now I've just found that there's so much like variety and amazing different types of curry out there. I can't get enough. I keep trying different ones. But I found that mango chicken curry is amazing. And the restaurant that I ordered it from last time, they had a healthy option on the menu, which I didn't notice. It only popped up on the website and I was like, oh, healthy option. Like, I like healthy options. I'll give it a try. And do you know what? It was actually better. I could tell that it was lighter, but it retained all of its taste, and I just thought, this is great. Like, this is what I want. I want the healthier option, and it tastes better. So, yeah. Do you like cinnamon in curry? I don't know. I do not recall eating a curry that's got a heavy cinnamon flavour, so that's one I'd like to try. Yeah, I'm so down with like trying new foods and stuff lately. It's just fun. Got to get that idea out of your head of like being disappointed by it or whatever. Because that's usually the thing that like stops you from trying new stuff, is that like expectations of like, oh, you think it's going to go this way and then it doesn't. You think it's going to be good, but it's not. Like, well, what's to lose, all right? If you order something different and it turns out not to be so great, like, not a big deal really. Do you like Asian food, says Hamator? I do. I like Wagamama, like that kind of cuisine, more than I do like Chinese takeaway. I don't know what it is with Chinese takeaways, but they don't really do it for me. I tell you what, there's one food that I never really order with curry or with Chinese is rice. Rice is just like the most, I don't know how to describe it, like the most kind of plain, standard, similar type of dish you can get. Like, rice is rice. I've never had rice that's been like, whoa, I didn't know you could cook rice like that. Do you know what I mean? So I never get rice. That's like a rule. It just seems pointless to me, because I can just bust out some rice at home and it would be pretty much the same deal. A good fried rice though, says another JT. Maybe I just haven't had enough good fried rice, right? Maybe I just haven't had enough of that. Oh, I didn't want to fall down there. Right, I feel like we can step back here and just put a couple of these in, right? That always helps it. Maybe... yeah, just want to get that shape not so straight, essentially. We'll also put that there and kind of bring the next bit across. You're missing out then. Rice can be cooked in numerous ways, says Javant. Yeah, I could well be. It's just, in my experience, every time I've ordered rice, it's just felt like having rice at home when you make it yourself. I've never ordered from somewhere and the rice has been like the key part of the dish where you're like, wow, that rice was great. It's always just been, I don't know, just Just rice. Palela is awesome, says Crown Teats. I think I had some of that at a festival, and I was blown away by it. I remember when we first went to festivals, me and my friends, like the food was like a joke, and it was kind of like one of those things, like don't eat festival food. But it's changed. It's changed. Like, I don't know. So, like maybe just over the past like 5 or 6 years, it feels like now at festivals, they've got all these like luxurious sounding options, and some of the cuisine is pretty damn nice. Like the palalea stuff, or however it's said. Yeah, and I actually look forward to it turning out. And I tell you what, I've been missing out on my festivals, right? The other day, I had a dream again, right? I had never gone to a festival unprepared without my list of bands printed off on a piece of paper that I keep in my pocket. I have the full timetable of everyone who's performing, okay? I know where they are, what stage, and where I'm going. I'm planned, I'm prepared. I enjoy my live music, okay? But for some reason, despite never making that mistake, I periodically have anxiety dreams about being at Download Festival or some sort of show, and like constantly just, you know how dreams are, where you're like, you're trying to get somewhere, you're trying to do something, you're trying to make something happen, you want to see that band, or you've got to meet up with your friends, and like everything just seems to get in the way. It's like you're moving across a chessboard, but the pieces keep rotating around you. It's just like disorienting when you look back at it. And it was just one of those dreams where it was like, I can't like, you know, I don't have my schedule and I can't get to it. I keep trying to like connect to the internet on my phone. It's not working. I'm walking around trying to find an internet cafe, trying to find someone with a poster. I'm like, dude, we're in the festival. What time's Devin Townsend band on and all this? And it just all goes wrong. It all goes wrong. Moon's Glory says, paranoid much? This is the thing. I never feel paranoid about something going wrong before the festival. It's just like one of these dream modes where I'm thinking, how has this come about? Because this isn't like some traumatic thing that happened to me that I keep bringing back up in my dreams. It's like, this has never happened. Like, I've always been on top of it, and yet I have these just weird anxiety dreams about missing out on watching bands. Probably not a bad dream to have. Look, we've had a load of noises in the ear here. Where are we at? Oh my goodness me. I've been zoned out for the last 12 minutes, peeps. Andu Bundu, here with the Prime. Crocodile Lily Pop for 5 months. Buttons88 with the Prime. Bossy Twitch 1 with the Prime. Waylander 101 for 4 months. Why worry about 2 a week? Indian people literally have up to 7 a week. Oh, don't tempt me, man. Don't tempt me. I tell you, it's tempting. It is tempting. Because I so easily could. I so easily could. You got me thinking now. No, I can't make it a habit. I think it's just too much. Like, I got to stay in control of my diet. But you're right. Like, it's the normal food for Indian people, right? Like, can it really be that bad? The other thing is, if I had 2 a week, I wouldn't have them so big, because it's literally a feast when I have a curry. 2 feasts a week, probably not so smart. But anyway, I need to stop thinking about that. Chiron is here with Cheers and Bits saying, was your first decked out run on a stream, or are you making a video on it? Also, how do you like it? Will you be playing it a lot? I loved it. It was great fun. I'm definitely going to play it a lot. I don't think it's got so much in terms of like showing the runs each time. I think there'll be a point where, well, I'm just thinking it from an editing perspective, right? Like the first few runs, you're going to show much more of the layout, but as we start to learn the layout, I think the game is going to transition to being more focused on the artifacts and progressing in that sense. But that's me talking about it from like a video perspective. I'm basically going to be playing it. Like, it's awesome. Really enjoyed my first run, and yeah, I mean, I'm stoked. Like, Tango's done an amazing thing here. It's super cool, and it's going to be a part of the video. So it'll go through like a transition, I think, is the way to describe what I'm talking about, right? You'll start to see more like, hey, we did like 3 runs over the last couple of days, and check out what I got from them, as opposed to like showing them as much, I guess. That's just like my intuition on that. That's not the way around I wanted you to go. Okay, yeah, there we go. That's a nice way to tie it up to this space, I think. Cub also threw in a few more blocks over on this side, which I think I might actually integrate a couple of over on the other one, but notice how you use the dead corals really sparingly, like not very frequently at all, which is probably the way to go. Now over here I actually kind of wanted to bring out a bit more of this structure. Let's start doing that around here, I guess. Yeah, that'll do. Let's build this bit up. So far, the shape of this thing, it's good. I actually think I want to do... What I originally pictured was like something like scooped. But I don't think that's going to work. But I feel like down the bottom here, maybe rather than have this stuff protrude outwards, it should go inwards a bit. So let's rip out some of this dirty mycelium here. And let's make one that goes inwards more, right? So we'll have... Actually, I'm going to break it there. And we'll come back and we'll change the bits on the floor later. So all of that's good. And you're telling me where to put that, aren't you? So something like that. But then up here, where have we got? Well, what have we got? Where have we got it? Up here it can come across a little bit. Anyway, noises in here. Need to keep reading. Need to keep reading. JP Martin's free here for 26 months. 2 weeks in quarantine, so hopefully we'll be here often now. Yeah, the quarantines are kicking back in a bit here and there, aren't they? Oh wait, no, I think I know what you mean actually. Is it self-quarantine? But yeah, essentially rule of 6 here in the UK. We're going to start to see the size of the waves. Sorry, the size of the waves, the amount of people, you know, infected, second wave as they call it. Like, this thing's, I've been saying it for a while. This is like something we're going to have to live with for quite some time. It's not a quick thing we got over, to get over. And I know this stuff can be contentious. And look, I just hope everyone's going to be safe and well. And if you are skeptical in any way, I would highly recommend to get yourself into the YouTube educational sphere. That is how I learned about a lot of this stuff before it even happened. Okay, years ago, things like SARS and all this went around, and I used to just sort of default to this way of thinking that was like, oh, you know, it's just scare tactics and fear-mongering. And then over time, like, I just seemed to develop this curiosity with learning. I love learning stuff through YouTube videos, right? In the edutainment sphere, as they call it. And so when this thing came around, all of a sudden I understood the language of what people were talking about with like the R number and all these different terms around virology, and I just had a lot more insight, and it helped me take it seriously, because I could have defaulted to that, oh, you know, it's just scare tactics and all this kind of way of thinking. So I highly recommend, you know, having a look into that stuff if you're skeptical in any way. Because, you know, being educated, I think, allows you to hear information and then kind of understand it better, because when this thing first hit, we got so much conflicting advice, and a lot of it comes from politicians. And what politicians usually have to do is they usually have to be right. Politicians don't really talk in half measures of like, oh, this is what we know right now, but it could all change when more information becomes available, right? Politicians generally tend to give you the I know what's going on kind of attitude, and here's what we're going to do, and then it changes, and it makes people a little bit distrusting of like, oh, you know, what is going on here? Things keep changing, and if you understand the more complex nature of what pandemic is and all the things that go into it, it allows you to see between the lines a little bit of what's going on, you know, and make better sense of all this information that keeps getting shoved our way about what to do and what not to do. Right, just went off on one there, didn't I? Sam Spinall is here for 24 months. That's 2 years of support right there. Incredible. Orium W for 16. We got Orium W gifting a sub to Andrea. Thank you ever so much for gifting that sub. Appreciate it. Appreciate it ever so much. Official Jaden's here gifting subs. 10 of them. My goodness me. Jaden, thank you for the sub bomb right there. Appreciate you supporting our community. We got Kebu Seradu, Mythtown, Dr. Med Racing, Burrito Media, Non-Binary Maple, Chimpo, Twinty Pro, It's Ozymandias, Dorglong, and Sass Muffin. Thank you, Jaden. Appreciate your generosity. Incredible. Dark Us Light Grey says, curry to politics, where does his mind go? Goes all over the place. Goes all over the place. I'm a thinker. Like, some of y'all know that by now, right? Like, stuff that gets you thinking is what gets me interested. So, most of my days, my brain is just thinking about stuff all day long. It's ridiculous. And then fortunately, thanks to all of y'all, I got a place to just let that steam off, you know? Have a chat with all of y'all. Okay, this is good. Put that bit in there. Let's refill and andesite, yeah. X, what do you think your favourite tea is? Says Phantom Guy Dud. It's probably every day. I keep going to every day at the moment. No way, guys. Assume a brain thinks, says SN45. Well, maybe you know what I mean. Maybe you don't. I don't know. If you're making a joke, that's cool. But like some people, you know, some people go through life and they're like kind of like with the wind. They're cool with it. They do what they do and all's good. You got it sussed out. Like someone like me though, I feel like I just need to think absolutely everything through. Like I don't have the answers, can't figure stuff out, so it causes me to like think about it a lot. And I get a bit caught up in all of that. Like just got a curious mind, I guess, for things. Okay, so far so good. It's definitely going to need a few things here and there to kind of spruce up the shape and give it a little bit of character here and there, but I like that. Now what we've got to do is keep bringing this bit here out. And one of the ways we're going to do that is actually right here. Did we bring any of those? Let's put one of those in. I feel like I haven't done that in a while. And then, what did I say we needed to do? Probably bring this across, I'm guessing. Well, actually, no, probably to bring all of this out. Yeah, we'll do it like that. But there is a bit of an art to creating nice shapes when doing this, because when I look over at Scars, there's some things that go on over there that are really good for making this kind of terrain sort of just have some pizzazz about it. One of the ones I noticed is when you're going up. How can I describe it? I can't actually see it right here because it's been rather well blended in. I guess it's like here, like when you're going up, also go across like that. If you go straight up, then you'll end up with just something that doesn't look quite as good. You want to kind of go across a bit, so you give it like depth and layers. Yeah, and I'd say so far so good over here. That's looking nice, and then we'll keep it going across. And let's try and get like a nice big old bulk of this underway. Right, Prancing Elephant is here with the Prime. Puzzle Freck is here for 33 months. Username Sternson is here with a donation saying Persian jeweled rice is amazing and not all like eating rice at home. Same with saffron rice. Seriously, try it if you can. Username Sternson, I appreciate the suggestions. When I next see those opportunities, I will perhaps partake in a little bit of the Persian jeweled rice and saffron rice, yeah. Yeah, just got to maybe experiment a bit more, you know. I can't even remember the last time I really like dabbled in ordering rice, because usually it's just so, like I said, from the home. But I'm guessing it also like depends where you order from. Like if you go for your local Chinese, I'm guessing it's probably going to be a bit more, well, less exciting than some acclaimed restaurant or something, right? Okay, up here, let's bring out this base a little more now. So we're going to put that there. We also got Jake the Stretch here with Cheers and Bits saying, guess who's getting a tattoo? It's going to be a Penrose triangle with the stand arrow from JoJo's Czar adventure going through it. Well, I hope you're like 100% set on that. I mean, let me tell you this. I don't know what the Penrose triangle is with the arrow from JoJo, but when I was a young person, I wanted to get tattoos, and I tell you, they were the most blasphemous, just idiotic tattoos that you could ever think of. And I am so glad that I was allergic to getting tattoos, because all my days I would have regretted them so much if I'd have gone through with it. So much. Some of the ideas I had were just like obnoxious, can't unsee kind of tattoos, you know. Whew, dodged a bullet there. Dodged a bullet. I did anyway. But yeah, you know, tattoos are permanent, although you can get them removed. But yeah, just make sure you know what you're doing, dude. I mean, I'm personally, you're telling the wrong person for one, because I'm just not a big fan of tattoos in general. I can appreciate when a tattoo looks cool, but I'm not really on board with the concept of like the permanence of them. It's not kind of what I'm about. Right, we got Big Dog Sam G here with the Prime. We got Delaka97 for 3 months, saying, have you reported those remaining myceliums to Scar? At some point I'm going to come in here and rip them all out. Let me tell you that. They will be begotten? They will be gone. Begotten is a terrifying movie that I've never been able to watch the whole way through. And just thinking about it makes me shiver. Oh god, Begotten. It's one of those like artsy, how can we terrify absolutely everyone? Jeez. Oh, that's a terrifying movie. Anyway, Mark Guards is here for 6 months. Are you looking forward to trying Decked Out? I've already played it, dude. It's awesome. Badger Spanner here for 22 months. Mornever Moon... Mornever Noon Butts. I do not understand, but thank you so much, Badger. Appreciate it. Classic Martino's here with a donation saying, I'm taking an understanding obesity class right now. Very interesting way of looking at obesity from a societal, political and scientific perspective. Well, I'll be interested in learning about it from those first two. I mean, I would assume the scientific perspective is the health perspective, right? That's the perspective I approach obesity from. I've talked about it quite a few times on here because I'm a big like health and fitness nut. But whenever I talk about being obese, it's like a health issue. I see it as you need to know that like you can be comfortable with being whatever size you want. That's fine. Like, looks are looks and beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? But just understanding there is a health aspect is extremely important because, you know, being obese puts you at risk of heart disease and all these other problems that are linked to carrying too much weight around with your body. It's like, it's purely a health issue on some level, and I don't like the idea of that getting lost or distorted along the way, you know? Molly the Spy says he's right, I did it, tattoos are suck. Oh, they would have been if I did it, I'll tell you that. Whew. Like I said, dodged a bullet. Dodged a bullet. Yeah, I'd be signing up for laser surgery removal in a big way. We got Swamp Rabbi 16 here, subscribing, and Crazy Doors is here with the cheers and bits saying me and my family are adopting a cat and we are naming her Jelly. Oh, that is a nice name right there. I love the name Jelly. And we love Scar's cat Jelly, of course. Thank you for the cheers and bits. We got Jack Pride here gifting a sub to Almost the Alice. Jack, thank you for supporting the community with a gifted sub. Appreciate you doing that. I would probably never get a face tattooed on my face, says Nurbert. Like getting a face tattoo of a face? There's like double face in that sentence. I mean, face tats are just even more like in your face, right? They're even more of a statement. And again, like the sort of statements I would have made with tattoos would just been, I'd hate them. I'd hate them now. I'd be like, you idiot, you fool. So I'm glad face tats weren't even a thing. I mean, they were, but like not like they are now. They seem way more acceptable, which is fine. Like, I'm not saying face tats are wrong, just not for me. Face tattoos are in your face, says Adam. Yeah, I did say that, didn't I? I definitely just said that. And I guess they are kind of literally, because when you're face to face with someone, you see their face tattoos. And it's just such a bigger thing, I think, to say when you put it on your face, like, because face is a huge part of your identity, and now you've tattooed it. Like that's a modification right there. Right, how's that looking? Need to bring it up on this side with it, I think. And then probably across a bit at some point. So let's put one there. And then take this out. And then somewhere around here, I think we'll have to have it go back a bit. I feel like we haven't put an andesite slab down in a long time. And I think I'm going to put one right there. Two, in fact, so there we go. Right, so we got, quite a few here. Swamp Rabbi is gifting a sub to Matt Kai. Thank you for gifting the sub, dude. Appreciate ya. Salippy9577 is here with a Prime. Giant Blue Fish is here for 2 months. Can you do a 30-minute long decked out video? I don't know what you're asking for there, really, because a run takes about 7 minutes or less, like 5 to 7 minutes. So, you know, I don't know how often I'm going to be available to run because I've not got enough to buy another key, so I don't know how I'm going to play again, actually. That's one problem with it that I have, is that I don't have another key yet, so yeah, not sure what I'm going to do about that, to be fair. The thing with health issues and weight is that a lot of the time big people is healthy and slim people don't. The problem is that fat people are automatically considered unhealthy when they can be fat. For a lot of reasons, non-fat people are disregarded. It doesn't help a lot of what entertainment industries and society, etc., generates an image to be of being happy, successful and healthy when you're in a particular shape. Well, let's not conflate the terms fat and obese, right? Like, we need a distinction at some point that highlights the health and safety aspect. Yeah, you can be fat, overweight, and be generally healthy if you exercise regularly and eat right. Like, that's totally possible. I'm not denying that in the slightest. And if that's what you want to be, then, you know, your body, your choice. But again, more of an education thing is that obesity, when you reach a certain threshold, you are undoubtedly causing harm to yourself through the health risks that having all of that extra weight with you does, right? And, you know, I can't really comment on the rest of society and what they see or what you perceive they to see, etc. I can only speak on just my own experiences and how I see and perceive people, and like, I'm not trying to pass out any judgment. I'm trying to pass out advice on health and fitness because that's been part of my journey, and if other people are looking for that, I can, you know, help you with that. I would like to think I can help you with that to some extent. There is a huge gap between having a visible belly and being obese, says Surprise T. Exactly. And as you also pointed out, being skinny can go in the wrong direction as well. I, for example, am pretty darn close to what they would say is the unhealthy end of the spectrum in terms of body fat, but then again, that doesn't really factor in my lifestyle. Like, I'm very active and fit, and I do a lot of like running and weightlifting, so, you know, that kind of, how would you say, like, angles out that way of looking at it. And of course, there's always like more to the picture, right? Like, you know, like you said, someone can be healthy and be overweight. But I think obese is where you kind of cross a line where it's very unlikely that you'd be able to be obese and also healthy, because that much weight is the health risk, essentially. And it spins both ways. Like, you can have eating issues and disorders like that mean you don't eat enough and that you keep yourself super skinny because of self-perspective issues. I mean, I'm not really qualified to say much on that because I haven't experienced it myself. And not that experience, I guess, means you're qualified, but like, you know. Florence Magpie says the whole system for calculating things like muscle and fat and weight is messed up completely. I wouldn't say it's messed up. I'd say there are varying degrees and tools out there that can give you varying degrees of accuracy on what it is you're trying to figure out, right? Like, I've got this home set of scales that I brought that's supposed to tell you your body mass index, and I kind of get the impression that it's more heuristic, like it probably pulls more of its information from a large data set than it does individually know exactly what's going on in my body. It's probably like it gets some metrics, and then for the average person these metrics would mean, is what it's telling me. Unfortunately, there ain't a lot of information on what I'm actually being told with these different metrics from my scales, which is something that I really wanted to know. But I also know that at the more advanced and competitive like ends of bodybuilding and that end of like the fitness pursuit, that there is like advanced clinics that you can go to with lots of scientific tools. They put you in these like water weight chambers and they can really like suss out what's going on in your body. So again, it's more like, yeah, some of it's a bit wishy-washy and not so great, right? But understanding why it's like that and what else is available is kind of important. You've got to put it into the broader context, essentially. Not everyone is fat causing eating a lot. There are lots of things involved with it, like slow metabolism, says Mominita. Right, yeah, okay, so metabolism plays a role, right? But I think it can be all too easy to use that as an excuse for someone, right? Like, everyone can probably conjure up the image of someone a bit overweight. Oh, it's my metabolism, but, you know, do you ever go out for a run? Like, at the end of the day, you can't break the laws of thermodynamics. Energy in, energy out. Now, being someone who's paid close attention to their metabolism, what I eat, etc., there definitely is something to, in my experience, what you do with your body around what you eat. Like, it feels like I can routinely eat these massive meals and get away with it, but I'm also like working out constantly, which is supposed to really stimulate your metabolism, and it kind of gets, that idea kind of gets reinforced by watching a lot of these videos online where people are sort of saying the same thing, essentially, that you can kind of get away with doing stuff like that. Where were we at on that? Jeez, there's just so much waffling going on here. I think the average weight has a lot to do with culture and food in society. Some cuisines around the world have a lot of vegetables in almost all dishes, while others have unhealthy fats added. I don't think it is easy to stay healthy in a place where you are only offered bad choices. It becomes a lot more expensive and even a bigger task. I tried living on 3 different continents and waste. That one's scrolling off the screen, but I get your point. That's more of like a if you step back from the individuality of a person, as if everything they did was just of their own volition, and then you're like, let's say you take like a clone of a person, right, and you put them in different environments. If you put someone in an environment where it was really easy to reach for like cake, and there's always cookies in the kitchen, and there's always treats around, you know, it's quite likely that person's going to end up eating those things and potentially becoming overweight because of it, right? Like, one of the things that helped me cut down my weight was realizing, you know, when I go shopping, if I use that moment to not pick up the junk food, like, and to not pick out the treats, because treats come your way, you know, you go out and about, you see friends, or you're out shopping, like, you know, there'll be moments of temptation, but if you put them in your own kitchen all the time, then you're going to struggle. And so 6 days a week or whatever, my eating is just, you know, fresh fruit and veg, stuff that I've cooked, yogurt and oh god, what else do I have lying around in my fridge? You know. Whereas if you're in an environment where like all you can ever do is grab fast food and you don't cook for yourself, like, or someone's always putting treats in front of you, then it's going to sway you in that direction. Like, you can talk about discipline and self-control a lot, but if you remove the temptation to begin with, it's a heck of a lot easier than to resist it when it's there. Thomas Forever says, I have supersonic metabolism. Going back to that, like, when I say there's something to it, like, I'm not sure, like, how much there is to it because of the whole calories in, calories out thing. So, like, if you think to yourself, you know, I'm obese because my metabolism is poor, right? Stop thinking in terms of it's something beyond my control and start thinking in terms of, like, what can I do? Because if your metabolism is slow, there are ways that you can stimulate it. Like resistance training and exercise will stimulate your metabolism. You can still eat less than your metabolism can handle, right? So if you've got a slow metabolism, eat less and, you know, again, calories in, calories out, right? So I think there is undoubtedly something to be said about like different metabolisms for different people, but let's not let it become an excuse, because that could be standing in the way of you and better health. And you know, again, I always say it's like a health thing, right? So if you're fine with being overweight, then that's cool. Meester says poor metabolism equals fuel efficient. Not so sure about that, because it's quite complex, right? It's not just like energy. There's lots of things like nutrients and whatnot that goes into diet as well. Everything that we're talking about here is an extremely complex topic for which, if anyone's giving you like broad stroke answers, that's usually a bit of a wayward sign. Like, there's a lot of information you need to like take in and understand to get your head around this stuff. And for you, it's going to be learning how it applies to yourself that it's the most useful, because these kind of like ideas that there are blanket rules for how all this stuff works, so you can just apply for anyone, tends not to be so. This will go on Asuma Says, I bet. Say hi to YouTube just in case, says Echo Light. I don't know, it might do. It might do. I wasn't actually, I hadn't got to the thing I wanted to talk about yet. I've just been waffling on about this again. You don't have to eat until you're full. Oftentimes you are, you know, chat's moving very fast to pick up on these messages right now. Obesity is so complicated. I have an illness called Crohn's. I have been put on pre-diagnosis to treat it, which causes me to gain an insane amount of weight. And your one is going off the screen right now. So let me put it like this. Yeah, like there are, again, like what was I saying just a second ago about how complex and personalized all this stuff is. Like if you have a disease of some sort, that changes the whole frame of the game for you, right? Which is why, you know, you kind of need, you need like bigger chunks of information rather than just like one size fits all answers, which people often try to hand out. I shake my fist at the X. I tried after you played it the other day and I can't put it down. Why is that starred out? Is it because it's a URL? You played shapes.io. Hey man, that's an engineering game. Like you're doing some brain activity right there. They're the kind of games I like because they really get you thinking. I think they're a far better game to play. This is pretty cool, this terrain. I like it. Definitely needs a bit more to it. But I think what I want to do around the edge here is just... I actually don't know what I'm going to do with this bit. Like, there's a whole other biome going on around here, and... I don't know what its fate will be, but I feel like we should at least do a little bit of the corner, right? Otherwise I'll be here all day blooming building it round the back. Looks great, X, says Dronikiv. Thanks. Yeah, it's not quite what I originally envisioned, but I find a lot of this stuff is more about like randomness than it is, you know, actually like articulating a vision, so to speak. I feel like Scar, for example, is someone who can perhaps better go from just like an idea to like a realized vision of what the area is going to look like. For me, it's still like a learning process. When I did this sort of thing in Season 5, that was a real good moment where I could take the basics of a concept and just apply it on a large scale so that it became something that looked very purposeful and designed, which is technically not what this is. Let's actually throw in just a little bit of that, because we haven't done that very often at all, have we? And you know what? A couple of them here and there might just be a really good thing. Just gives it a bit more of like a feeling like it's not all just strictly down into the ground and then it meets this. There are, you know, a couple of spots where the rock kind of rumbles over a little. I personally feel I have a pretty high metabolism, but it wasn't always that way. I was overweight for almost my entire childhood until I turned 14. Then puberty kicked in, my body weight caught up to how I was eating, and now I'm 6'2", 210 pounds, which is great for me. I'm actually currently trying to gain more weight for high school football, says Fortnite Phazin. Cool. Yeah, that's interesting. They often say when you're like a teenager that your metabolism is like really driven up and you get away with eating stuff, don't they? I'm not really sure if I can reflect on like mine the same way. I must have done, but I was always like a little bit on the. I was picking up weight as I was growing up, but then it was like into my 20s where it started to accumulate fairly rapidly. I can tell you about my own metabolism because I've kept a track on it for so long now that I've got it like pretty much down to a T. It would appear from all the calorie counting that I do and tracking that my metabolism is about 2,450 at base, and then my lifestyle will put at least 600 calories a day on top of that. So I'm pretty much rocking about 3,000 calories a day. But for the longest time, I've been really cutting my body weight down and not eating 3,000 calories a day. Been eating more like 2,400 to 2,600. Puberty did the opposite for me. Instead of getting tall, I got fatter and fatter despite actually participating in PE and eating relatively healthy. Especially since my dad had been diabetic my entire childhood, so we had to eat healthier as a family. You know, it could be portion size might be wrong there. Yeah, like, here's the thing. You can eat healthy. You can still eat more calories, right? So potentially that might be a reason why, like large portion sizes and whatnot. This is why I find calorie counting useful, because it puts like a different sort of perspective on what you eat. Like the portion sizes of things I used to have when I was younger compared to today are kind of ridiculous. Like I used to probably have over 1,000 calories every time I ate, and now I have like about half of that each time I eat. But there's other things as well, like fat, for example, is very dense, so fats can be high in calories. They can also be like very unsatisfying to eat sometimes. So if you have a lot of fat in your food, it can be less satiating and make you feel like you're eating all you can kind of feeling, right? And that can be a little bit dangerous because then you could end up, you know, eating way too much. But here's another thing to remember with all this talk, peeps, is like take everything a day at a time. Like one meal doesn't kill you. It's every day is like something that nudges you in a good direction or a bad direction, but it's a minute little nudge. It takes a long time to go the whole distance, so to speak, and for your decisions to manifest. So like everything we're talking about here, don't ever let it stress you out or make you worry too much. Wolfstrom says, take everything in moderation. Take everything a day at a time. Life is too short, make the most of it. I like that attitude. I get the whole like take everything in moderation attitude as well. I think that's like a great saying, but you have to like get the moderation right. I think it can be easy to think you're doing things in moderation, because if you don't fully understand what you're doing, then you might not be. Like I just said about, let's say, you know, you get yourself on a diet that's like really fatty, but it's not very satiating, and so you feel like you're just having regular meals, but you could be taking in lots of calories because of it. You know, maybe when you cook, you throw loads of olive oil on, and yeah, olive oil's healthy, it's good, but it's actually really, really dense. A tiny bit of olive oil is about 100 calories. Like, you know, when you chuck some in the pan to cook something, right? That's about 100 calories right there. So what I always do is I put in as little as I can, and then when it's covered the whole pan, I actually drain it out, get rid of it. So yeah, like moderation, of course, but like you kind of also need to know what you're doing at some level. Right, I'm gonna go around the corner here just a little bit, and then we'll move on to something else, because I want to do something a little easier, and then talk to old Yo about something that's on my mind, which I hope would be cool with all y'all. Where do we get to? Lewis Booty 113 is here subscribing. Official Jaden's gifted a sub to Cold Sherpa, the one and only. Oh my goodness me, it's CubFan135, and that is my thumbnail. Right, let me go chuck that on Discord before I forget it's on my clipboard. You can't see when I take a screenshot, but I use the old Windows key to do that. There was a thread on Reddit a while back about great hotkeys to remember, and I wanted to use one today, and I couldn't remember what it was. But there is a way to paste text without keeping all the formatting. Sometimes when you copy it, like keeps all the formatting. Doom Guy is back for sure. Oh, speaking of Doom, peeps. Speaking of Doom, I am really getting into Doom. I gotta have to do a live stream on it soon, okay? Control-Shift-V. Thank you, peeps in chat. Let's hope I remember that next time I wanted to do that. Appreciate it. Yeah, I have been playing Doom, okay? September's rolled around. I need to make a little note. I just remembered something to put on my to-do list. Glad I remembered that. Popped into my head right then. I have been trying to relax a bit more. At the end of the day, play Doom for an hour. And I'm actually starting to feel like I'm seeing myself get better at the game, right? I'm using more elements of the available methods of attack. I'm getting a better understanding of how to get through the levels, and I'm doing a really good job of taking on some of the mobs, and some of them, like, I've sussed out with certain weapons I can one-hit kill them as well. And we're being raided. It's the one and only Pixel Riffs here raiding us on the Hermitcraft. Thank you so much, Pixel. Appreciate it. Are you still grinding for ancient debris? Do you regret it at all? I have to know. I could not have committed to such an incredible grind in the Nether. I'd have been like, nope. Oh, jeez, man. 2,500 mined, no regrets. And how much do you need for the whole thing? Because it's like 4 for an ingot, plus 4 gold, which is probably got a gold farm. And then 5,904. So you're under halfway there. That's incredible, man. I mean, if you do it, it should go down in Minecraft history, right? Thanks so much for the raid, dude. Appreciate all the support. We have been chatting about health and fitness as God. I've never talked about that before, have I? Oh, stone was actually what I was drifting back for. We've built all the side of this, which I'm really happy with. It's turning out great. We're going to talk about some social media stuff that I think is really important, actually. Going to get on that in just a minute. And we've been talking about food, just a classic Minecraft Sumo stream right here, right? And we've got 3,000 peeps watching right now as well. So thank you all the raiders for joining us. Peeps, be sure to hit the follow button here on Twitch if you like what you see. Pixel Rift says, looks great. Love the glass road. Such a neat look. Yeah, you know, like when I was going through some design ideas, it was all like, you know, patterns and groups of blocks, and it all just felt so expected, and because it was on a small scale, it felt a bit cramped. And then eventually it was just like the glass, just put glass in, and it looks terrific. It lets you know where to go without changing the terrain too much, and it kind of almost feels like in space they might just lay down some sort of like minimalism path for you to, in space, on the moon, you know what I mean. Loving the hill, to be honest, says Wolfstrom. Oh, I'm glad you like it. That's great to hear. That's great to hear. I've had a bit of experience doing this. I did picture something a bit more extravagant originally, but this has certainly sufficed, to say the least. And it kind of looks like this is our little bit of the corner right here that I'm doing today. And yes, I do have a shovel on me. Why am I not I don't know why I'm not using it. It's literally there in my hotbar. Literally there. Someone's down in decked out by the looks of it. Did Cub get his hands on a key? I wanted to go check on that key again, but we kind of saw it earlier and there weren't anything available. That, my friends, is all I'm doing for today. Although I might come and spruce it up a little bit of gravel here and there. A little bit of gravel. So yeah, going back to the Doom talk, you know, me being the Doom guy and all that, really, really enjoying it, and might do a little stream on it, but taking the time to relax, it's interesting. I have this high productivity mindset, and so whenever I go and try and do something different, I like have a hard time of it if it's not contributing to some sort of goal I want to achieve. But I've been able to let go of that a little bit lately, and I think it's been healthy for me. Just feel a bit more relaxed in general. Which Doom? Oh, Doom Eternal. Doom Eternal, the new one. I can drink some water right now. We were getting through these noises in the ear. We got Swamp Rabbi gifting another sub to Annie. 51173, thank you for that gifted sub. Hockey Boss 35 here for 2 months in a row. Joey Day subscribing. Official Jaden gifting a sub to Wolfstrom, the one and only, for 17 months. Thank you so much, Jaden. Appreciate that. And we got Classic Martinio here with a donation saying high calorie foods tend to be cheaper than low calorie foods. If you were struggling financially, you'd be more likely to buy the $1 cheeseburger than a healthy alternative. Thoughts on this? Classic Martino, thank you for the donation. Great question. I've actually covered that on my Asuma Says channel, and I'll cover it again here quickly. I believe personally this is a little bit of a myth. There is undoubtedly truth to it though. You know, we all know how cheap fast food is. And it does seem to be regional based, because where I live, it is cheaper for me to live off of fresh foods. Like, I have gone to the shop to do my weekly shop and filled up my basket with fresh fruit and veg to make salads and dishes with vegetables, etc. And it is way cheaper than buying stuff in boxes that is like, you know, pre-packaged food. That can be an economic thing. But there's also, I dabble in the edutainment space on YouTube, and I've watched like a fair few studies on this, like, and basically eating out, there's this big markup cost of hiring a space to have your restaurant or fast food place in, hiring employees, all the machinery inside of it. There are all these costs that go into creating the food they serve, and some of these ones that I watch essentially call it a myth, because you have these big markup prices for fast food, right? And I personally just experience where I am economically that if I go to my local Asda and stock up for the week with all the fresh fruit and veg and vegetables, the price is really low. And if I go for all the junk food stuff, that stuff's all like a couple of quid a box, whereas like some vegetables cost, 30 pence or whatever. Like, and some people, we've discussed it in chat, some people are saying no, it's not that way, like it's more expensive to get fresh fruit and veg here. That could be true. One thing you shouldn't do is make excuses for yourself. Like, actually go and find out and do the math and see if it's the case at your store or not. Because if you're just giving yourself an excuse, then you don't need to say anything. Just don't do it. But like, if you actually want to eat healthier and money's an issue, then really suss it out, because at least where I am, it is economically cheaper to eat the healthy stuff. I think the reason people don't most of the time is because of the cost in time and effort for preparing food as well. That's another factor. Time is a factor. But certainly, like the price here is cheaper to eat healthier, in my experience. Frozen veg, don't agree with me. Fresh stuff makes me feel good, and I believe it's cheaper too. I actually have some frozen veg in my like packets of it, you know, in my freezer, and I get along with it fine. I really don't know much on the difference between frozen and non-frozen, but there is this thing of like frozen for freshness, right? So I don't know much about any science or insight on. I got glass on it, yeah. On that in particular, right? Fruit at times can get pretty expensive, especially out of season, says Ray the J. Yeah, that's. Goodness me, excuse me, that's true. I mean, put it this way, like a pouch of kiwis cost, I think it's like 60p, and there's 6 of them. It's 10p a kiwi. I mean, the kiwi's not like a calorie bomb, is it? But that's some cheap fruit right there. And I have been eating golden kiwis, which are expensive actually. The better quality kiwis are like £1 for 4, and then the golden kiwis are £2 for 4. And they were out of kiwis, and so I picked up these golden ones, and I thought, oh, what's this? I'll give it a try, you know. I'm going to put a lot of this stuff in here, actually. I don't think we need that much right now. We need the glass. I thought, I'll give this a try. And, man, golden kiwis are the bomb. They're like the notch apple of golden apples. When were kiwis golden, says Assassin Bro? I don't know, but they are gorgeous, right? Like, kiwis have got a little bit of sharpness to them. And golden kiwis seem to take out the sharpness and give you more succulent, sugary goodness. I don't know. It was just damn tasty and a bit smoother. Golden kiwis are so good, says Mushroom Cheerio. Yeah, Mushroom Cheerio. Yes, they are. Oh, Crones, you're on it. Kiwis, eat the whole damn thing. Eat the whole damn thing. I eat the whole damn thing. JD Gaming says, the real question is, do you eat the kiwi skin? I do. I eat the whole thing top to bottom. Sometimes you get a little bit of a stone around the bit where it forms. Like, it forms at 2 ends. One is like rougher. There's a bit of a circle shape to it. The other one's more like a point that it comes to. Sometimes you get a bit of a stone at the rougher end. That is one thing. Oh, am I going to need... Right, let's think this through a little bit. We were working with slabs. We can keep that going. I might... Yeah, okay, we need our slabs. I might just keep most of this, actually. Frozen veggies are considered to be more healthy than things called fresh because there's no way any viruses, bacteria can come to them and they don't rot. By the way, I got sick eating too much kiwis, says Arthur. I'm not sure if that's the sort of answer I was looking for, because I would have expected the answer to sound very different. Saying there's no viruses and bacteria, that's not really about the health of the food. Like, your body is always coming into contact with different bacteria and forms of virus, right? And your immune system is what combats it. So, I mean, I'm a believer in a bit of dirt is a good thing. Not advertising that anyone do it themselves or, you know, go out there and shove your face in the dirt, but like, I don't wash my hands a lot. I prefer to keep them a little dirty because it's going to sound really strange to you if you'd like. You're probably going to think I'm mad or whatever, but like, I see it more like your immune system, my immune system is regularly coming into contact with things, and therefore it's strengthened because it learns to deal with them. I don't get sick hardly ever. Like, have my days here and there, but I have not like spent time in bed in a long time, and I believe it's because of obviously health and fitness decisions and keeping in shape. But oh, Adam says, do you wash your fruits and veggies before cooking / eating? I do a bit. Some things, like I always wash the surface of a apple, like I run it under a cold tap and then wipe it off. Some vegetables have visible dirt on them, I get rid of that, but when they don't, I tend to chuck them straight in because everything gets boiled. I tend to boil most of my food when I cook it like that. Oh, Disco Mercenary says, what do you use for calorie counting? Is it MyFitnessPal? I used to work there. Dude, I use MyFitnessPal, and if you can hook me up with them, that would be awesome, because I have no business sense, And the only people I ever want to do business with are things that I actually use. And I tried reaching out to a few places and like didn't get anywhere with it. MyFitnessPal was not one of the ones that I reached out to, but I would really like to be able to tell people about the tools that I use with the things that I talk about, and I see that as a potential like commercial opportunity. So I'll just throw that out there. Like I'm interested because it's a side of my business that I'm not very good at, and I'd like to be able to incorporate a little bit. Alvin Glup says sponsorship. Yeah, whatever you want to call it. Like, but I'm happy with promoting stuff that I use. Like a Fitbit, reached out to them, nothing. Oh, I keep forgetting one more thing. I need just like a stack of dirt or something. You know, I'm happy promoting stuff that I use, but not stuff that I don't. Like, I don't want to pick up some commercial deal just because I can make a buck, right? Like, I want to believe in what I'm telling my audience, and I can believe in things that I use every day. Like, I use MyFitnessPal every single day. I really like the stuff on their blogs as well, actually. Like, I didn't get that app to read the blogs, but when I read them, I'm like, this is kind of in line with a lot of the stuff that I've disseminated from many sources, and felt like, yeah, this is kind of like the fitness advice that makes sense to me. Because there's a lot of people out there spouting nonsense, basically, or like one glove fits all kind of answers to stuff. And from what I've read of their blog, it seems to be pretty much on board with the best advice that I managed to get. Adam says, Asuma says, this episode brought to you by McDonald's. Oh, Adam, if you think you can edit any of this that I've waffled on about so far into a video, that would be awesome. Because I don't even know what to write. Sometimes I just talk, and that's it. X, do you take any vitamin supplements, says Duffbo? Yes, I do. I keep meaning to organise getting my blood work done. There's a few medical things I want to do, but this whole like corona stuff has just got me like a bit iffied out about it. But I really want to get my blood work done to find out if I'm doing the supplements properly or whatnot. Because I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out I'm like deficient on something, right? Oh, wait a minute, that's not how this next bit plays out. That is not how this next bit plays out. It's about getting rid of what we've already put down. Also, like, where do I want to put a path in the long run here? I think I'm actually going to go relatively, like, diagonal and straight through here. Bit of curvature. I don't know what I'm going to be building around here, but better just to get this path done right. Hey, I work at McDonald's and I do feel like I really shouldn't eat as much there, says ExileF. Do a little experiment, right? If you can put up with a little bit of punishment, do an experiment. Don't eat McDonald's for a while, right? See if you feel any better after. Because eating that junk on a regular basis, man, gives you the McBrick. Who remembers the McBrick? Supersize me. That cracks me up, the McBrick. Oh. That's a pretty clever name for the movie, Supersize Me. It's all about that portion size that they like to push. Go large, the supersize. Oh, what happened there? Right, let's finally talk about what I wanted to talk about, yeah? Let's finally talk about it. Okay, so Blast Worm is here for 5 months. What's your stance on pineapple on pizza? Go for it. One day I want to try kiwi on pizza. And, do you know I ain't a fan of getting all up in arms about pineapple on pizza? That's actually a great segue into the thing that I wanted to talk about, because it came up in a podcast that I was listening to. But first of all, we've got to say thanks to the Goo of Man 420 with a donation saying, loving the Starcraft music. It is cool to hear Starcraft in Minecraft. Yeah, man, I mean, if you love the Minecraft soundtrack, you love the if you love the Starcraft soundtrack and you love Minecraft, two things from different universes together often go pretty well, in my experience. Combining things that you like and enjoy. And we got Rexington42 subscribing. Thank you so much, Rexington. So, recently, I have been thinking a lot about social media. And if you've been watching my live streams or listening to my videos, you know that I have quite the take on social media, that I believe it is something new that we are all interacting with and has the potential to be unhealthy and destructive, and perhaps some of that is happening on a rather large scale at the moment, which is not good for our getting along, our togetherness, because there's a lot of division and polarization going around at the moment. Well, on Netflix, did I just say Netflix? Oh jeez. On Netflix comes out this documentary called The Social Dilemma, and boy oh boy, when I started watching that, I was thinking, this is like capturing everything that I've been learning about in regards of social media for a while now. It's kind of capturing it all and putting the picture together, but it's told through the lens of people that have made this stuff, right? It's people that have left the industry to now come and talk about it a little bit and say, look, we've created something here that is potentially dangerous. And now there's people in chat saying that they've seen it too. Awesome. I highly recommend watching it for everyone. Okay? Anyone here, go watch it. If you watch the first 20-30 minutes and you're thinking, this ain't for me, fair enough, you gave it a shot. But I can't help but feel that a lot of people would benefit from absorbing the information available. It seems to be, for me, a culmination of many things I've learned from different resources and sources, just kind of all in one place, and a great way of narrating the different aspects of it and bringing it to a conclusion as well. It was really good, and there were some interesting perspectives on there as well. They had a few people that I didn't entirely agree with their way of framing it, but it's always good to see other people's perspectives on stuff. So anyway, this morning, I'm listening to the latest Devin Townsend podcast, and boy oh boy has it been a treat to hear through his records and how he made them from his perspective. And he also is using the podcast pretty much as like his own therapy session, whether he realizes it or not, and just sort of openly talking through how he's dealing with life day to day and what he's been going through the pandemic. And I really like that aspect of the podcast itself. Love hearing about the records. And anyway, the first 45 minutes is him talking about social media, and he also mentions that he watched The Social Dilemma on Netflix, and so it became extremely interesting to hear about it from his perspective, and it's really just got the gears turning over in my head about social media again. I occasionally talk about trying to like detox from it or consume it less, and I've decided I'm no longer going to keep my Twitter account open on my web browser, which I usually do. There is one good reason I have for it, and I'm going to find a workaround for this, but it's also a part of my work. I kind of need to monitor it to find out when there's a snapshot, so or Minecraft news in general, so I need to find a solution to that. But I moved it to a tab on my homepage called End of Day. So end of day just means do this once a day, right? That's my mental note. And I've been listening to a book called Atomic Habits. I listened to a podcast about it a long time ago, and I decided to get the book and try and reinforce some of these ideas and principles about forming habits into my day. And with that, it just kind of reminded me, like, he's talking a lot about the availability of behavior in this book. Like, if you put something in front of yourself constantly, like a cookie in the kitchen, you're more likely to eat a cookie in the kitchen. If there isn't one there, you're probably not all of a sudden going to be going, oh, I want a cookie. Like, these things are triggers, they are cues. And so if I remove that thing, my Twitter feed, from being there on my browser every time I open it up, I'm not going to interact with it as much. And I've wanted to do this because I noticed I just had this kind of idle time, which is something Devin talked about a little bit in his podcast as well, where you just seem to all of a sudden like go to social media and start looking, and then time passes by and you're not really doing anything. It's like unproductive. And so I'm looking for ways to minimize that kind of behavior. And so by moving it to this end of day tab, every time I look at it, even if I do open it up in the day, which I did a couple of times purely to check for Minecraft news, it allowed me to like just assess my behavior in the moment. Like, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing, and if I open it up, well, there's a reason I'm going here, and let's stick to that reason. Let's not read my Twitter feed until the end of the day. And I really like having that element of control on it, you know. Great episode yesterday. X also loving your Assumer Says channel as well. Keep it up, says Norley. Thank you, thank you. I need to have a little drink. Good suggestion from Ray the J on how to perhaps get the information I want from Twitter into another location, so I only see exactly what I want to see. I'll figure something out. That's a good idea. I'm not sure if that's the one for me, but I'll figure something out. So anyway, let's touch on like the finer points of social media and all of this. Like, yeah, it's a big experiment to introduce to us humans that have evolved over an extended period of time without this access to people's opinions and, you know, breaking news all the time and stuff that feels very immediate and applications that are constantly sending us little updates and trying to lure us in to spend time on their platform. Like, the objective is, in this sort of digital environment, to get our engagement, and we are the subject of that. So it's our evolution that's kind of being used against us to pull us in and to keep us on these platforms. And that seems to exacerbate some of the worst qualities, like our propensity to focus on negativity. And so it's, if anyone out there is like having anxiety and any of these like health issues, and you believe it could be related to social media, well, pay attention to that and look into it and maybe give yourself a break, because it seems to be unhealthy for a lot of us. And for me, I feel like I've got a grip on it, but I realise there are times when people tweet me nasty stuff and I just fixate on it for ages. And I'm not one to like get into a little bit of, let's say, Twitter beef or, you know, like argue with someone. I try and avoid that kind of arguing across the internet because you tend to talk past each other. But man, I can fixate on it as well. And Devin was talking about this. He was saying, you know, like I can fixate on the negative stuff and, you know, treat it like it's all too important. You can also fixate, or not fixate on positive stuff, but you can take the positive stuff too much to heart. Like, essentially, this stream of what other people are thinking can get in the way of you, you know, doing what you're trying to do. And if I think about my, like, creative endeavors, I think I do get a lot of really helpful positivity from other people who share their creativity as well. But when it comes to negativity, I know what I'm doing. I know why I'm doing this. I don't feel like I'm doing anything that should ring any alarm bells. And so when I come across this negativity out there on the internet, I don't want to get fixated on it. And I do. I get caught up in it. And so I've decided I really want to steer social media out of my life as much as I can. And that probably means reading less comments. However, you know, here with a chat full of comments, this is a good environment. We have a lot of good conversations here. Macy Moo says, Twitter always gets me into political arguments. Yeah, Macy, I see that trap on Twitter, right? So I give you a suggestion. It's up to you if you want to do it or not. But like, let's say you set yourself a rule. Maybe you're not going to use Twitter less, but no political arguments. And rather than focusing on, oh, person out there thinks this crazy thing, which is what, you know, often political arguments tend to get exacerbated to, as if like, you know, people are crazy out there with different opinions, usually because we're exposed to different news sources. But like, if you just make it like a rule that you're not going to get into those arguments anymore, at the end of that period where you're like, right, I've done this for like a couple of weeks now, if you assess how you feel, I think you might find that like general stress and anxiety or fixation on these things might be a little less. Like, arguing with people over Twitter has, in my experience, never been productive, and often leaves you with those lingering thoughts of like, what if this person says that and I'll say this and they're an idiot, and like, your brain's not wired for it properly. I don't think your brain's wired for it properly. In fact, it's the apps that are wired to take advantage of our brain, it would seem, which is something that the Netflix documentary shows really well through this perspective of like, what if the algorithm were humans and they're like standing around making decisions, and you can see how like geared these algorithms are to figuring us out and keeping us on these platforms. Really great documentary. I'm going to say it again. It was great. Right, we've got noises in the ear. We've got Funky Coaster here for 32 months. And MPA Dutch with a donation saying, hey X, on the topic of vegetables, fresh versus canned pots frozen. No one of these three is healthier than the other? Most of the vitamins are lost in the kitchen. Biggest difference are in taste and feel of the vegetables. Love the streams. Keep it up. Well, thanks for the input, dude. I appreciate it. I'd be interested to know like where you got that information from and what's the science behind it. What was the documentary, says Eggmatic? It was the social... Oh dear. The social dilemma. That's the word. The social dilemma. Yeah, so moving forward, like, as a society, I really think there needs to be a conversation around this. There have been conversations. I've been listening to them, you know, on podcasts, and I've been telling all of y'all about it. It's really nice to see something big like that, and I think it's important for all of us to pay attention to it and to pass it on to other people and bring more people into this conversation, because social media is potentially tearing apart some of our social norms and the fabric of society, as they say, you know. I can't help but feel that in the long run we're going to get through this like tricky time, but it ain't going to be done without hard work. Discussions need to be had, and I think probably laws and legislation are going to come about to regulate these big data and tech industries, because they're having a corrosive effect, it would appear, on our society. Okay, let's put one there. Let's go doop 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 like that. That'll be how it drops down. It usually looks a little bit nicer to have extra block or two on the sides. And here's where the next one starts, I guess. We're also accumulating carpet now. I loaded up my inventory with so much stuff. I've now got way more than I actually need. There we go. You should look into Angry Yang. He's an advocate for proper data laws as well as on technology. Ollie, I know Andrew Yang. Listened to many podcasts with him. He's like one of the most favoured candidates I can think of that I've ever heard, and it's because he's not a politician. He comes across as a regular guy with ideas that some of us believe, I guess, are more important and current. Well, not more important, but like, feels like there's a large part of the political discussion that seems to not see this problem, right? Like, that doesn't get it. You know, politicians generally are older, and it's going to take someone younger who's more accustomed with these things to understand it, right? I guess he kind of represents that to me. And so, you know, being here in the UK, and I'm sure it's like it for a lot of you out there, but like, if you're not from America, it seems to just be this natural thing to focus on American politics. And, you know, I keep up with what's going on and what's being said and what's happening and who the candidates are to some extent, I will say. Not so much this time around have I really been keeping up with any of that, because talking about all this social media and mental health, I feel like my news diet just needs to be restricted a bit. There's just too much bad stuff happening all the time that you can focus your attention on. And if something is really relevant to you that you need to know about, you're probably going to know about it, regardless of if you're checking the news every day, you know. A lot of that stuff is just abstract in a weird way. Obviously, we need to care and be compassionate about things that are happening to one another around the world, but a lot of the time you sort of sit in this position of, well, you're not in a position to do anything about that, and it's just some thing that's happened elsewhere that's just causing you anxiety and worry. So I try to like focus on my immediate environment a little bit more when it comes to news. The Puka! I was racking my mind trying to figure out where I heard this music. Finally found it. Starcraft. The Puka, don't tell me you play Starcraft now, because I love me some Starcraft, dude. Here we go, let's put a block over here. Let's turn it over to chat now. Let's turn it over to chat. It's heckin' toxic to be addicted to news anyway, says I'm here for Jack. You know, addicted to news. I think you're capable of taking in news in a healthy way, but I think the current news climate and the average person, we're probably not equipped with those sorts of skills, right? Like, I feel like I'm definitely not. If I were to, let's say, steer what I do here online into some more sort of like news-oriented ambition, I'd have to have a real clear strategy on how I read news every day, because a lot of it is geared towards outrage. It is geared towards, you know, pushing our buttons to get that engagement. We are, you know, attracted to negativity because of our evolution, you know, threats in the wild. Do you need to know, do you need to hold on to information like, is that tiger over there a threat to me and it's going to kill me, or do the rose bushes look nice? What information is more valuable for you in terms of how we've evolved? It's the threats and the dangers, and so that's why we are so drawn to this stuff. And I think you'd have to have a really healthy approach to working in news media and dealing with that stuff constantly every day. We got a noise in the ear from Silver Lycan Studios saying, "Hex, just wanted to say you've helped me so much during the quarantine and helped me have a broader view of the world, even helping me so much with my mental health. You're a huge inspiration to me and I can't wait to see how far you go." Silver Lycan, thank you so much for the cheers and the bits, dude. So glad to hear that any of this has been of help to you, man. That's awesome. I'm happy it has been. Thank you. We got AJ Main 12 here for 19 months. Arbites for free. Shekby 29 for 2 months, saying social media functions around being in an echo chamber. Yeah, the way I would describe the echo chamber is to not think that there is this echo chamber out there full of people who've got the wrong idea about stuff. And, you know, you might think of it of like you see some political view that is of the other side, if we're going to have sides, right, on Twitter, and you're like, oh, you're just in your echo chamber. What you got to realize is that we're all in echo chambers. It's the way the stuff is designed. You engage with this type of content, it shows you some more. And too often, a negative effect of the echo chamber is that when we interact with other people online, we're also not really seeing the information that they're exposed to. So you can have two people going back and forth about an opinions around a certain topic, yet we don't actually understand all this information that the other person has seen. I've had a few people challenge me over the things that I talk about in these videos, and they say stuff like, you need to educate yourself and learn about this and learn about that, and I'm thinking, well, you don't actually have like a map of all the things that I've taken in to reach this conclusion or whatever it is I've expressed in these videos. And sometimes they're about things that I'd consider myself to know a bit about, or have invested a fair amount of time in learning or just being interested in, right? So there is that as well. The term I like for that is information siloing. Like, we all have these silos of information that we've learned about the world, but we can't see what's in each other's silos, which is why I think in discussion it's really important to fully explain through ideas and listen to one another. Even if you think that person's got the wrong idea, it's important to learn from one another, right? Just learning each other's perspectives. What news site would you recommend, says Ollie? I don't know, because I don't take in a lot of news. I tend to look at the BBC just during the lockdown, like what's the latest the government are saying we should do and that kind of thing. But generally I get a lot of my whatever it is I'm learning about what's going on in the world from edutainment and podcasts. So on YouTube, that's... I'm going to shout out a channel here just because I really appreciate... They're a very small channel. I really appreciate the level of quality that goes into their videos and the way in which they handle very difficult subjects with a kind of a balanced perspective on different takes. Hey! That was the sound of the one, the only, the Durability Ping mod pack kicking in, telling me that my shovel's going to break. Beautiful. It is called Above the Noise. So that's the kind of channel where I would take in more what you call news, but it tends to come in a little bit later. It comes in like weeks or months after the latest thing has happened, right? And then it gives you a lot of research and opinions and studies relating to whatever the topic of that video is. So that's like a way in which I get information. And podcasts is another one. Long discussions between professionals and experts is a really interesting way to learn about stuff in the world. And a lot of the time listening to people that I don't agree with. Because, again, perspectives. Like, what a big perspective shift I've had over time is how I view the military and military-related activities, because I used to have a very strong anti-military, anti-war, anti-violence kind of mindset. And it wasn't until I started listening to people inside of the military about how they do what they do, how they know what they know, that my perspective started to shift. And I have a much more like ambiguous take on that kind of stuff now, right? Like, I don't even know where to get started on a discussion about war and military and all of that, but I know that when you listen to people that are inside of it, it really changes like your perspective. You understand things a little differently, and it's not so cut and dry and black and white like you might thought it was. Anti-military, says Bossman. Yeah, like I just hated everything to do with war and violence in the military. Like, you know, if you were a military person in the military or into the culture or a soldier or whatever, like naive younger Asuma many years ago would be like, oh, you're the problem, right? And I kind of had this idea that it's like, if there are no soldiers, there are no wars, right? Whoever takes up arms is the problem. And I think that's a very idealistic and simple way of breaking down complex issues in the world. And having a keen interest in military history and listening to people inside of the military, that's really changed for me over time. It's a much more just incredibly complex and tricky subject, but I certainly don't harbour these thoughts anymore of like military equals bad. Like, I'm against war, undoubtedly. I think all of us are. We don't want wars. They're not great. People die. No one wins a war. But, you know, matters of like national security and keeping borders and countries safe, like there's a lot of geopolitical stuff going on there that's just not cut and dry and not simple. And so to have a very simple idealistic view on it is kind of not really anything anymore to me. In Israel, you have to enlist to the military when you finish high school. Being a peace seeker, it was very complicated to be a part of the war system. I learned a lot though, says Moon's Glory. I mean, that sounds to me like you would have some really interesting things to say about that topic. I would be, you know, absolutely interested in hearing. Because again, just like you can't simplify these things down. Like, that's a really interesting point. Sometimes being a part of the military is compulsory. So yeah, does the UK have a military-industrial complex that controls much of the government budget, says Dev? I don't really know how much of our budget relates to the military. I do know that we have nuclear warheads, quite a few of them. But I don't know much in the way of like how, because we all know that America has an extraordinary military budget, and my general opinion would probably be, if there's something that appears to be excessive, then it might just be. And you know, when people put forth these arguments of like we could put that money to use elsewhere, like in healthcare and things like that, I find that, oh, just a random lantern. I find those kind of arguments rather compelling. But at some point, there's some basic military expending. Basically, it's like, yeah, in an ideal world, no fighting, no wars, everyone realizes, oh, that's bad, let's get along. But we don't live in an ideal world, so it's kind of like Machiavellian in a way, that you do have these forces out there that don't have your best interests at heart. And so how do you handle that? Well, if you want to start a new country, right, and you're going to have no military in our country, we're not going to have any rockets, any security, what's going to happen? You're probably someone's going to invade you. Like, in this day and age, not entirely sure. 100 years ago, absolutely. So it's kind of like that. Like, it's all right to be idealistic, but sometimes you got to be practical and pragmatic, I guess. Imagine if the US gave NASA the same budget as their military, says Wiltron. There's a Neil deGrasse Tyson book about how the NASA and the military actually aid one another, and a lot of advances in science and technology aid the military. It's kind of interesting that there's almost an argument in there that would benefit the military too, but might be Might be getting a bit carried away there. Right, official Jaden is gifting a sub to the poker. Thank you for gifting the sub. Supporting our community. And the poker is passing it on, gifting a sub to 1702 Felix 1998. Thank you for passing it on, dude. Very kind of you to do that. We got Antonio 4230 here with 27 months of subscribing, saying, "Hey X, what's your haircut?" My haircut is just shave it off. I'm not into haircuts. I don't get it styled or anything like that. It's practical. It's like, okay, it's grown a bit now. Grab the clippers, shave it off again. And I used to go bald when I was young. I used to just shave it all off every single time. But now I leave a little bit on top. And if I were to have a haircut, I'll tell you what haircut I really like, where they shave it away on the sides, like that sort of Tom Hanks, isn't it Forrest Gump, where it's kind of like almost a military haircut, I believe, like shaved, like it's a short cut all over, but shaved down at the sides. I kind of like that. I think it just like pronounces the head of the shape of the head a little bit more. Something about that that's nice, but I can't be bothered. Short back and sides, yeah, that sounds like it. Yeah, quite a few of you saying short back and sides. That would be it. Blind Nicknamer 5478 here for 24 months. Thank you for 2 years of support. That is incredible. MPA Dutch is here for donation, saying they discuss here what is heavier, fresh, canned or frozen. The information comes from academics and field experts. It's a Dutch documentary series where they look at all kinds of food products and is made by, I think your message got cut off, but I am copying that URL and putting it on my clipboard. Thank you for that, dude. I appreciate you sharing the source with me. Look forward to watching it. And thank you again for your donation. Dag Soul is here for 3 months and Taribo is here for 26. Why don't eggs tell jokes? If they did, they'd crack each other up. I love it. And I love me some eggs as well, by the way. I'm a big fan of the old eggs in the diet. Every day I have some eggs. Sometimes cooked, sometimes pickled. Iceland doesn't have military, but they have coastal guards around of 3 and 4 aircraft. Source Wikipedia. Yeah, I mean, yeah, even where you don't, you still have something, right? And also, you got to think about the, what would you call it? Like the economic and the geographic, right? Like meaning of a country and who it's allied with, etc. Like, yeah, maybe you can actually get away with not having a military, but there's like all these other political factors that will come into play that will allow that to happen or not. You know, if you were a country like rich with tons of oil and you just had zero military, someone's probably going to come in and pinch that oil. You know, but then you might have powerful friends nearby and there might be some political reasons as to why you have no military. Maybe you're protected by that country and so therefore you wouldn't. You know, I'm not talking specifically about any country. I'm just kind of aware that this is how things work. Learned a lot about that through like military history and history in general, and just love learning, love watching documentaries about all sorts of topics, and sometimes it might be about, you know, geopolitical stuff to do with countries and places, and it's just fascinating to me. All this stuff you can learn about that's out there, that's going on, that's happening in the hood. We should probably be wrapping it up here. Gamer Chick is here for 44 months, saying 44 months, dude. What in the world? I do my best to show up, but life's been insanely busy lately. But I think about you every day. Jeez, I miss you immensely. Thank you ever so much, Gamer Chick. Appreciate it. You've unfortunately tuned in right at the end of the stream, because this is where we wrap it up, peeps. Hope you've been entertained today. That is my 2 hours. I need to go cut myself. Cut myself? That's a bad place to end the sentence. Cut my vegetables? I don't know what I was going to say. I need to chop up some veg and make myself a salad. There we go. There we go. It made sense in the end, right? Peeps, be sure to hit the follow button before you head out of here, and I'm just going to go check and see who is streaming. Are we going to raid someone? We're going to go raid Music Man 1017. Today, let's click on that raid button. There we go. Cool. Thank you to everyone who subscribed, resubscribed, donated and cheered. As always, I appreciate your support. Thank you to all of my Patreons. And I'll be back soon with another one, but maybe not tomorrow. Anyway, hit the follow button, hit the rate button, and I'll see you all later. Take care. Bye-bye.